I thank all our delegates who have made time to come and even sit here up to now, waiting for the official opening. Thank you so much. But ladies and gentlemen, the value of supportive friends cannot be downplayed at all. Though we have established a niche as a reputable professional accountants institute, we must have more incredible support system from our other professional organizations in Africa and the world. And with that, I want to recognize the presence of various regional bodies and international bodies that are attending this event. And one is the International Sustainability Standards Board representative. 2 is the Pan-African Federation of Accountants. 3 is the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. Where are the delegates? I think they are in Pride. Then there is the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda and the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Burundi, OPC. And the last and not very least is the Somali Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the National Board of Accountants and Auditors in Tanzania. Let's appreciate them for coming to support us. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this seminar, Towards a Future-Ready Accountancy Profession, is particularly apt and relevant in the times we find ourselves in as professional accountants. To explore this further, I must begin by asking us a question. Are you ready to disrupt disruption? And our chief guest will be able to respond to this. Are you ready to disrupt disruption? If you are, then you are a future-ready accountant. Again, the disruption caused by geopolitical events and post-pandemic trends of economic downturn and inflation, supply chain constraints, the new regulations on ESG and sustainability are causing havoc with businesses. Accounting and finance professionals are adopting a wide range of digital technologies to build a resilience and agility in this age of disruption and are investing in developing the right tool sets and skills. This seminar will be more about that. Ladies and gentlemen, as we now know, the accountancy profession, like all profession, is going through a period of appraisal of its future position due to numerous changes in culture, technology, and the world of work. In particular, the profession is witnessing a threat to its viability due to 3 broad challenges. These are the challenge of attraction, the challenge of relevance, and the challenge of change. Ladies and gentlemen, these 3 challenges result in a clear shift in education and career choices and downstream impacts on membership in the professional accountancy organizations like ISPAC and many others worldwide. We must be able to attract, we must be able to be relevant, and we must be able to be agile in our duties. A good example is the business intelligence, and where this involves responsibilities, and previously most of these responsibilities were solely done as a strategic management accountant, but this has changed. Whether the future sees more and more of technical requirements for accounting being machine managed or more roles traditionally filled by accountants now being supplied by others, the education and preparation of accountants must be mindful of this broadening and shallowing of expertise in the accounting space for accounting profession to remain relevant. Beyond keeping doors open, the single most significant challenge and opportunity for accounting is our understanding, definition, delineation of an accountant and many others that we embrace while retaining our clear role and mandate of the profession. Ladies and gentlemen, taking these three together, professional accountants must address these challenges with determination in light of the future, allow to highlight and make suggestions that can help prepare the future of the profession. ISPAC is doing a lot to help the profession prepare for future challenges. From a policy perspective, ISPAC has long supported adopting global standards, regulations that support decision-making and useful tools. We are a member body to the International Federation of Accountants and the Pan-African Federation of Accountants. Through these bodies, we are able to source for information and be able to deliver it to our customers. As one of the first countries in East African region to adopt the International Sustainability Standards Board's first two standards, SI and S2 organizations, we are really ready to ensure that this profession goes on well. We have endeavored to bring in anti-corruption initiatives, disciplinary issues for those of us in the profession who may not work with us. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things I shamefully agree with is that accountants have an overall image problem. And I say I shamefully agree with a reason. One of the biggest challenges we are battling today is an outdated perception of our profession and what accountants do. The stereotype that we are number-crunching introverts who are more comfortable with spreadsheets than people, but that is not really the case. Accountants are leading businesses, driving strategy, running companies, and have an ability to help in shaping the future, including the political space. We request our chief guest, if he has that narrative or any other, that accountants are business doers. Being an accountant beyond today will be a once-in-a-generation opportunity and a public interest responsibility, but it will not be given to us. We need to earn it every day through trust, through doing professional work professionally. Your Excellency, our Deputy President, allow me, on behalf of the Institute and members of the Institute, to highlight a number of initiatives that ISPAC is undertaking towards the bottom-up economic transformation agenda better. In the 2022-2027 bottom-up economic transformation agenda, famously referred to as better, it identifies the 15 focus areas to grow our economy and improve the living standards of ordinary Kenyans. The better aims to make it better through increased production and productivity in agriculture, manufacturing, and service subsectors of the economy. Your Excellency, the ISPAC family is spearheading the coffee sector reforms through strengthening governance and requirements for greater accountability, and we are very grateful for Your Excellency appointing some of our members in some of these very important committees. On the women agenda, like I said before and you witnessed, we have more than 50% of women serving in council and other bodies out there. So we meet the required threshold. On digital superhighway and ICT, we have automated all our functions, including licensing of our practitioners, and many of our functions are actually automated. And on this, even our elections, Your Excellency, we carry them out electronically for the last 7 years. So if you need any IBC commissioner, call on ISPAC. On education, Your Excellency, ISPAC has complemented the government's effort and prized itself as the first professional body in Africa to set up and sponsor a fully fledged university, that is the case here University. To date, the university has churned out over 20,000 professionals, either as certified public accountants or those who hold diplomas and degrees in various ways. We have also partnered, and of course it's in the Accountant Act, with CASNEP to ensure the quality of accountancy training or trainees produced respond to current market needs at local and regional, including international levels. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, on the service economy, and specifically the financial services sector, the Institute has rolled out continuous training and capacity building programs relevant to the accountancy profession through what we refer to as the International Financial Reporting Standards, and we have an annual financial services seminar that targets accountants in the financial services sector. On environment, ISPAC is at the forefront working with various industry players to adopt sustainability reporting on environmental, social, and governance issues, commonly known as ECG. We are keenly following the developments within your government on the establishment of the carbon credits or carbon credit markets. I challenge my colleagues in the accountancy profession herein to strive to enroll for certification around sustainability reporting so as we are able to contribute to this important frontier on issues around valuation of carbon credits and accounting for the same. On governance, the Institute is not only committed to development of the accountancy profession, but also committed to regulation of the profession. We have a whistleblower policy framework that supports our accountants when they whistleblow. We have actually taken this further and been able to support some of our accountants who are involved in Your Excellency, what was referred to as the Mara haste. And we were able to support one of us for 6 months until he got a job and now works with the judiciary. We still have room to do more as we are told the crime in corporate Kenya originates elsewhere, but unfortunately terminates at the accountant's desk, who pays the alterated check. I urge our members to remain vigilant and be committed to our CPA core values of credibility, professionalism, and accountability. Your Excellency, our members have always had challenges. Corruption starts very far, but at the end of the day, when they pay, they have to visit the Integrity Center for reasons they may not have known. As a profession, we shall be seeking your protection. ISPAC contributes to foreign policy and regional integration. We have signed various MRAs and MOUs with various professional accountancy organizations in the UK, in the US, Australia, Canada, South Africa, Dubai, among others, where our professional accountants are able to get employed. In the justice sector, our members are playing a key role in mediation and provision of expert witnesses in the areas of finance, accounting, and tax, among others. On debt management, Your Excellency, ISPAC prides itself for having cleared its mortgage of about 1 billion shillings for the construction of the CPS PS here, National Treasury, in framing and developing the national tax policy, which should be able to bring stability, predictability in tax and tax management. It is our request as an institute that this process should be completed and not die on the way like it did in many years ago. Your Excellency, we request that as you do your appointments, include professional accountants in boards, tax forces, where the expertise is. And we are happy to recognize that you are doing that, but we want more. We request that we have the urge to, of course, get taxes from the people, but ISPAC and its membership is asking, why can't we broaden and bring more taxpayers so that we save the chicken that lays the golden egg? We request the government to support us in law enforcement because we have quite a lot of quacks calling themselves accountants. On pending bills that are not overemphasized, many businesses have closed, and at least the president has put together the pending bills committee, and some of our members here are members. I think we have FCPA Ndungu Bernard of National Treasury, FCPS Bonomolo, our council member, FCPA Susan Oyatsi. I think they are members of those committees. We urge our members in these committees to be diligent and do their work very well, but there is time that is required, that you should finish this work and let's get this money paid to the business people. On fight against corruption and economic crimes, our members are currently working closely with the Financial Reporting Center and other regulators on this front. Your Excellency, we have over-regulation of our profession. It's either the CMA Act, the Central Bank Act, and many acts that really affect and lead to a high cost of compliance. Just to give an example, Your Excellency, an auditing firm has to register with the Ministry of Cooperative, even after getting a license from ISPAC, for them to audit a cooperative society. They must again go and register, of course they pay, and register with SASRA for them to audit a cooperative society. And that is where now the quacks come in. And we are saying we shall be knocking on your door so that you are able to assist us bring together this menace of regulation. Last but not least is the provision of expert witnesses to the DPP, to ESCC in the areas of finance and accounting. The Institute is very much ready and willing to provide these services to the various bodies that are able to help us fight corruption. And lastly, of course, this is to the National Treasury, and the PS is here. We really require your support in the review of the Accountants Act so that it is aligned to the current trends in society. With those many remarks, Your Excellency, I've been able to skip like 5 paragraphs because of your request. It's now my humble duty and honor to invite one of our very own, CPA Kuria Kimani, MP for Molo, the chair of the Departmental Committee on Finance and Planning in the National Assembly, and a prospective FCPA in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, CPA. I look forward to being FCPA with you in 2025. Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, our cabinet secretary present with us, our principal secretary, council members, and distinguished accountants of the Republic of Kenya. Good afternoon. Allow me, before I make my very brief comments, to introduce to you members of the National Assembly who we accompany His Excellency the Deputy President this morning or this afternoon. I'll start with the Honorable Stanley Mudhama. Honorable Stanley Mudhama is the MP for Lamu West. A lot of applause. Honorable Mudhama and I served in the Finance Committee of the last Parliament. And after that, I don't know where his committee has disappeared to. We have Honorable Faiza Badar, MP for Msambweni. A lot of applause for Mheshimiwa Faiza. We have Honorable Senator Githuku Joseph Kamau, the Senator for Lamu. We have Honorable Paul Biego, MP for Chesumei. Mheshimiwa Paul serves with me in the Committee of Finance and National Assembly. And allow me to briefly have the area member of parliament to welcome us here, the Honorable Mohammed Ali. And what you may also not know, Mohammed Ali is also a commissioner with the Parliamentary Service Commission. So he's also my employer. Karibu tukaribishe hapa Nyali.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, Cabinet Secretary, PS, members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Mine, Your Excellency, is just to welcome you in Nyali constituency. When we arrived and we went to the holding room, the way these guys were addressing you, I realized that I'm not one of them. There are people who are dealing with accounts, they are mathematicians, so I say today I'm not going to say a lot of things. But I can assure you, Your Excellency, I'm good at counting my money. So kwa hayo machache, karibuni sana Nyali, mjihisi mko nyumbani na Mungu awabariki. Asante sana.
Asante sana, Commissioner. Moha, there is one person called Olivia Mendes, one of the greatest accountants, who said, accounting is not just about counting money, but making every money count. So that's the difference between us and yourselves. Your Excellency, I would really like to thank you for finding time to come and speak to accountants this morning. When you called me yesterday and asked me to accompany you this morning, I was very excited, because sometimes politicians, when you talk about stakeholder engagement, we engage only with the voters in political rallies. But this is a very huge political rally, not in the ones that we are used to, but ones that has serious engagement of how to grow our country. It clearly demonstrates what you and His Excellency the President continuously tell us, that yours is a government of continuous engagement. So please allow us today to tire you with big names like cash versus accrual accounting, like financial, like AFRS this and that, because that's what we do most of the time, apart from me when I'm not in the village. Your Excellency, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants have played a very critical role in legislation in this country. Every time we have had whichever bill, and we've called out for public participation, the first people to give us their views is always the Institute. You will find the Insurance Act now has a contribution of ISPAC. The Privatization Act has a contribution of ISPAC. The Commercialization of Sugar Companies report that we tabled a month ago has a contribution of ISPAC. I saw the leader of majority, I think he's yesterday, tabling the miscellaneous bill of 2023. I am sure there will be the input of the Institute. So we really thank you, because you take your time to research on all the proposals that we come up with and come and give us your very engaging ideas. Your Excellency, the Finance Act of 2023, for example, I'll just pinpoint two things or two clauses that were really a result of these people. The zero rating of export services, that came out from ISPAC and the audit firms. The restriction the removal of restriction of interest from resident companies when you're calculating a corporation tax was also a great input from this. And these are some of the things that you've seen really work very well. The chair mentioned that he hopes that the national tax policy is not going to die like the other policies that die. Your Excellency, this is the first time ever in the history of Kenya that we have a national tax policy. I want to assure you, last week, the whole of Thursday and Friday, we sat with some members of the Institute for hours on end to fine-tune the national tax policy, and I'll be tabling the national tax policy tomorrow afternoon in Parliament. So that is no longer a mirage, it is something that is now done. Your Excellency, these people are concerned about their remuneration. Our friends, lawyers, you have seen the amount of charges they charge for their legal services because they have a remuneration now. We don't. And I think what you proposed earlier today without preempting is coming up with a team to have a total overhaul of the ISPAC Act so that it can reflect what accounts are in 2023. Not what the chair was saying, those boring people who just like crunching numbers, Your Excellency. And maybe just to give you a proper profile of accountants, Your Excellency, the marriages that last the most are that of accountants. Because of several reasons. First of all, they start with a trial balance. Then after a trial balance, they know how to do bank reconciliations. So they're able to do reconciliations in the house. And they're also aware of the importance of controls. So they have enough controls in the house. And because they're strict adherers of international, of AFRS, so they make sure that the relationship has international standards. That is why relationship of members of relationships of accountants really do last a lot longer. But most importantly, and Your Excellency, accountants, if we are to grow this country and this economy, accountants are key people. Whether it is that bazaar in a primary school in the village or in that secondary school, all the way to the Director General of Accounting Services in National Treasury, whether it is an agricultural company or a pharmaceutical company or an insurance company or a banking company, whichever sector you choose to, you will find an accountant. And therefore, the way to transform our economy and this country is by empowering these people so that they can continue with their role. And most importantly, anchor them in the fight against corruption and not target them. Your Excellency, sometimes, when there is a corruption scandal, majority of the time, the first person to go for or after is usually the accountant. Unfortunately, Your Excellency, by the time the accountant is paying, all those processes have already happened. So the person paying just needs to confirm, was this on the procurement plan? Was the procurement properly awarded? Is a implementation committee recommend for payment? And their work is just to pay, after verifying that all those documents have happened. However, when that payment attracts the attention of DCI or EACC, we go to the accountant first, instead of going to the real people who are the proponents of that corruption. So we are hoping that the way this administration promised that there is not going to be any more vindication and vendetta on public servants, that we're going to let accountants fully carry out their mandate, and they will be the best whistleblowers to make sure there is transparent use of public resources. And with those very many remarks, allow me to welcome our Principal Secretary for the National Treasury, Daktari Chris Kipto. A round of applause for Daktari Chris Kipto.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, who is our chief guest today, senior government officials here led by Pedina Alonza, Cabinet Secretary for EAC, Ourselves and Regional Development. Please stand, at least for people to see you. She has another event, so she will have the opportunity to speak to you in that other event. ISPAC chairperson, and because of time, may I say all protocol observed. I am here to speak on behalf of my Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u. He is currently away in Europe, accompanying the President on official duty, and he asked me to represent him today. And I'm a faithful PS, so I must do what he has told me to do, which is to read his speech, and then I'll make 2 points at the end of the speech. So, good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here in Mombasa, to be hosted by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, and to speak to you at this 40th annual seminar, which is also the second edition for this year. And this is an event that symbolizes to the world the vibrancy of this profession in Kenya. I especially want to thank the chairman, CPA, Philip Kakai, the Institute Council members, my representative to this council, who is CPA John Wala. Where is he? Please stand. And the CEO of the CEO of ISPAC, Dr. Grace Kamau. And may I also say that we thank you all for the excellent hospitality and organization. I want to thank also government leaders, both at county and national and county, both at national and county governments, led by His Excellency the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, for committing to attend this annual seminar and to participate in these critical discussions that will shape our future as a country and the future of the accounting profession. I am also pleased by the various representations from the international arena, ranging from the Pan-African Federation of Accountants, other regional accountancy regulators, and standard setters for Africa. It speaks volumes that Kenya can attract such a high-level delegation internationally. As a country, we have a seat at the International Public Accountant Standard Board, represented by CPA John Wala, International Federation of Accountants, represented by FCPA Professor Winnie Nyamute, and also IFAC SMP, represented by FCPA Mike Mbaya. Your Excellency, this is a testament that as a country, we are continuing to grow and thrive in the accountancy profession. Your Excellency, preparing the accountancy profession for the future requires an integrated approach that equips current and future professional accountants with skills, capabilities, and critical behavior necessary for an evolving business environment. This fundamental goal is embraced in the theme of this conference, which is towards a future-ready accountancy profession. I agree that with the professional accountants, growth in almost any country is only possible with reliable and credible financial information that is independently reviewed and verified. Where this profession flourishes, so does the potential for real and meaningful economic growth. This is one reason why the development of the accountancy profession in Kenya has been critical to the government's objective, and one in which we are making steady inroads, thanks mainly to the collaboration between ISPAC and the National Treasury. I am therefore pleased by the work ISPAC is doing to ensure we have a vibrant accountancy profession in Kenya, which is a crucial aspect of having a robust financial infrastructure in our country, and a strong individual institutions capable of positioning Kenya as a regional financial hub. Your Excellency, allow me to comment on only two issues which I consider important to this year's event: the role accountants can play in fighting corruption, and their role in enabling government to deliver sustainability goals. It has become clear that corruption has presented and will continue to present a significant obstacle to fully deliver meaningful progress against all SDGs. Corruption and related economic crimes such as money laundering, bribery, illicit financial flows, tax evasion, and fraud deeply affect human and economic development. On a regional scale, corruption hinders economic development by curtailing international investment and raising business costs. In other words, citizens and legitimate businesses pay more money to corruption in return for public services. Corruption also affects all 5 pillars of sustainable development. That is, people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships, popularly known as the 5 Ps. These crimes are illegitimate and erode trust in democratic institutions and government, inhibit social equality, and threaten economic growth. To make Vision 2030 a reality, we must tackle corruption, and accountants must play a vital role in fighting corruption. Accountants can drive the fight against corruption as you hold critical positions in both public and private sector. Many of ISPAC's regular activities already contribute to fighting corruption and economic crime. But there is need for the continued development of a strong regulatory framework that promotes discipline and compliance within both employed and practicing accountants. Indeed, the National Treasury, working closely with ISPAC, has developed and published the following important regulatory regulations that guide implementation of Accountants Act. These are: 1, Accountants Regulations of 2022. Second, the Accountants Standards of Professional Practice and Ethical Conduct Regulations of 2022. 3, the Accountants Examinations Regulations of 2022. 4th, the Accountants Registration and Quality Assurance Regulations of 2022. The National Treasury and ISPAC are currently working together to review the Accountants Act in order to align governance structures and disciplinary process to current requirements. We must build this experience and coordinate to build a broader ecosystem of actors working together to fight corruption on a global scale. To answer the call, I direct ISPAC to develop an action plan for fighting corruption and economic crime, which should provide a framework for the accountancy profession's role in combating corruption and economic crimes. This will advance the government's efforts to free this country of corruption. To harness the full potential of education and professional development among accountants, ensure more compliance of all members to global financial reporting standards, contribute to evidence-based policy making whenever this is required, strengthen your impact through engagement and partnerships, and contribute your expertise through the leadership and advocacy. My second area is to explore how accountants approach their role in enabling the government to deliver sustainability goals. I have a few suggestions that you should consider. First, please engage with the government to achieve sustainability objectives and ensure private sector and political alignment on achieving net zero and decarbonization. Remember that financial institutions and companies will struggle to reach net zero without firm political leadership and government intervention, particularly in the value chains. National policy frameworks and incentives linked to UN Sustainable Development Goals and the Global Paris Climate Agreement of COP 2015, that's COP 21, provide companies with a more precise roadmap to setting and meeting their long-term climate and sustainability goals. The second issue you should consider is that you need to empower audit committees to provide oversight of sustainability-related disclosures in mainstreaming corporate reports and regulatory filings to ensure trust in such disclosures and ensure investor protection. Third, finance and accounting professionals can advise on the opportunities in many countries where governments and financial institutions are financing investments in the decarbonization and sustainability initiatives. Fourth, accountants must be given opportunities to learn the language of climate change and sustainability from scope 1 to 3 emissions, transition and physical risks, and sustainability-linked financing. Relevant sustainability education and training opportunities will enable them to identify climate and sustainability risks and solutions and embed ESG and sustainability priorities into strategy, risk management, financing, and internal and external reporting processes. In conclusion, Your Excellency, accountants must quickly shift between multiple roles to succeed in today's dynamic business landscape. At one point, they might need to act as thought leaders of their organizations, while at another point, they might need to act as mentors to high-performance team or individuals. It is all about leadership, versatility, and leading effectively across generations, cultures, mindsets, and differing sets of motivations. I wish you fruitful deliberations and assure that the National Treasury is behind you in delivering your response of credibility, professionalism, accountability, and accountability. Before I invite the Deputy President, perhaps I also make just 2 remarks, Your Excellency. You have already directed me while I was being briefed, you were being briefed by the team to engage ISPAC on the reform measures that they have proposed. And therefore, I confirm, Your Excellency, that within the next 1 week, I will give them the opportunity together with my Cabinet Secretary, especially in the area of looking at our debt management and getting the ideas that they have about that issue. I want to confirm that we have made progress in moving the country from cash accounting to accrual accounting. Already, there's a cabinet memo before you, Your Excellency, and since you are the chair of the subcommittee of cabinet, the Deputy President has already confirmed he's going to have this in the next agenda item, which will be before 7th of December. And so we expect that cabinet could approve the country to move to accrual accounting before end of the year. And at the National Treasury, we have set mechanism to ensure that we begin to implement accrual accounting by 1st of July 2024. Your Excellency, I think with the movement towards accrual accounting, we are going to deal with the problem of pending bills, which has been a menace. Because I think now, before we did a cabinet memo to you, we estimated that we have about 640 billion worth of pending bills inherited between 2005, since the era of Kibaki, up to June last year. And you cabinet approved the setting up of the committee. I confirm ISPAC is a member. I think Omolo is here. Can you stand so your members can see? He is a member of this committee representing ISPAC. We have also DG Accountant Services, Mr. Ndungu, and I think there is also Susan that is here. So we expect, we have given them a roadmap. By June, they should be done with this. Your Excellency, we expect that the first amount that they determine as payable should find its way into the next supplementary, and the next, also in the next budget, and we will put this within the fiscal framework so we settle them once and for all. And from now on, we have said there is no pending bill that will be accrued by an accounting officer. Any pending bill must form the first charge of your budget the next year. So, Your Excellency, we expect that your government will not be having the history of pending bills. I think finally, we will, just to say that the review of your Accountancy Act, you have heard me talk what the CS said about the regulations developed, but we are happy to start a review of the Act. So again, in our next meeting next week, we can discuss also on what we need to do. With those few remarks of mine and many for my CS, it's now my pleasure and privilege to invite the Deputy President to address us. Welcome, Your Excellency.
The Principal Secretary, National Treasury, Dr. Chris Kipto, our CS for EAC, Asal and Regional Development, Penina Malonza, the Chairman of the ISPAC Council, CPA Philip Kakai, the ISPAC Council members, the ISPAC CEO, honorable members of Parliament, representatives of regional professional accountancy organizations, certified public accountants present, distinguished delegates, good afternoon. I'm very delighted to be here to get this opportunity to talk to great minds, to professionals in accountancy. We don't normally get this privilege because we talk to wananchi. And when we are accorded this opportunity, we are very humbled because you are great minds. And you know, as we are small people of limited education, not real professionals, we're just there. So when we get an opportunity to have a discussion with you, we are very grateful. I have brought greetings and warm regards from my boss, our leader, President William Ruto. He has asked me to say jambo. And the Ruto administration, where I'm the principal assistant to the president, have identified our modus operandi for governance as continuous engagement with everybody, including the professionals. I was here last week to talk to supply chain fraternity. I was again here talking to the Institute of Kenyan Engineers. I'm here today talking to you because as an administration, we have accepted with humility that we don't know everything. In fact, we know very little. And we need to enrich our thinking by continuously engaging those who know much more than we do. The president is on record stating clearly that a good idea must give room to a better idea, and a better idea ultimately must and should give room to the best idea. This will only happen when people engage. We listen to you, you listen to us, we borrow from the best practices, we have a convergence, we put our minds together, and together we agree what is good for our country. It is therefore very gratifying for me to be here this afternoon to say a few things that have been written to me by my team, and then I can speak a little from my heart. The Accountancy Fraternity holds the 40th annual seminar, second edition, of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, a year into the implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan. It is also a time that the government is taking a raft of measures, including reforming the tax regime to meet the financial demands of service delivery and development. With collection of more taxes to fund various projects, the need for enhanced transparency and accountability sets in. This meeting, therefore, is timely and essential, not only to ISPAC, but also to our administration. We need an accountable profession that will sow and instill confidence among Kenyans on how their taxes are spent. We appreciate that ISPAC has pronounced itself on a number of issues related to revenue collection, especially what you term as double taxation and capping on maximum tax. This is an important aspect of protecting public interest. The Ruto administration welcomes such pronouncements from professionals because they elicit public awareness, discussions, and dialogue. This allows us to align our position for a people-centered approach to government policy and other undertakings. In this way, esteemed accountants, you are shaping and contributing to good governance. While it is commendable receiving advice and recommendations on matters concerning public finance, We rely on your members who serve as accountants and auditors for accountability in the use of public resources, whether in procurement and supply chain or preparation of books of accounts. Members of your profession come in handy. You hold office in public trust to execute duties of ensuring prudent use of public resources. Accountants, auditors, and other professionals at ISPAC are doing a splendid job in serving our nation. And I want to say 95% of your members are good people. Very good people, patriotic Kenyans, and good professionals. I cannot say the same of the 5%. You know, you are aware there is a huge public perception of the report by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission that indicates that 21.1% of accountants and auditors are involved in corruption. Such elements are soiling the profession in unethical conduct. They collude and connive with other people in embezzlement. They do what is called smart accounting, computer errors, typographical errors, clerical errors, as such to cheat the system and steal. Thus, the same person holding office in public trust violates the Constitution, professional code of conduct, and other regulations. I can confidently say that in most corruption cases, at the tail end, someone from the profession is involved directly or indirectly. With such smart accounting and compromised practices, public trust in the profession is ruined. This directly and negatively impacts organizational service delivery. At national scale, it means the public will not get value for money, more so in our development projects. This is a concern we share with you 1 year into office. And I'm happy your chairman raised it, that perception. We need to work on it so that a few rotten potatoes in a huge sack do not soil the name of an entire profession. Dear accountants, delivery at the 5 pillars of the Kenya Kwanza plan will be in jeopardy with dismal or no support from ISPAC and other professional bodies. Our participation, therefore, in such seminars and high-level meetings is not merely ceremonial. We are making a serious statement that we are partners in public service. It is an invitation to work with us in cultivating and nurturing transparency and accountability in service delivery. And most importantly, implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. This is what we saw to Kenyans, and they bought it by voting us into office. In addition, we can improve and maintain standards in the profession through such regular meetings for sharing of information, experiences, and good practices. Positive accounting through integration of technology and innovation is a critical component to improving and maintaining standards. Skills are like software. You have to regularly update them, otherwise they run the risk of going obsolete. Our government is going digital in services to improve client experience, promote accountability besides raising our revenue portfolio. The impact we seek will only be felt if we integrate digital innovation into our systems. We heavily rely on you to set the standards. This is essentially what this seminar is all about. The future is not tomorrow. The future is here, today. Distinguished professionals, besides robust training, research, and constant review of course syllabus, mentorship is a central component to promoting professionalism. In the bottom-up approach, we call upon senior members to mentor upcoming professionals and offer more opportunities to women and people living with disabilities. This will help us grow a multi-skilled profession that is highly inclusive and multi-talented. On this note, I wish you fruitful deliberations and look forward to a strong and better profession, ready to strategically support the government in full implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. To this end, it is my honor and privilege to declare the second edition of the 40th Annual Seminar of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya officially open. Asante sana. Hii watu yangu wanaandika Kisungu mingi, lakini ni sawa tu. So I just wanted to say that to add a few things on the issues that you have raised. I've told you we are very happy to come and engage you. And I've listened to you very carefully, and I'm very excited. I had a short session with your leadership before we came here. And there is several issues that are very pertinent. And they have offered to partner with us on your behalf to make a better Kenya. They have told us that they know, as everybody does, that we have a huge tax burden, and your institute is ready to help us in debt management. You are welcome. I've told the PS to create a forum as early as next week when you come back to Nairobi. If you want to take a rest from Mombasa for a week, it's still okay. And you engage the CS and the PS and the experts at the National Treasury on what you think we can do in managing public debt. And after you finish with the Treasury, we'll ask you to come and make a presentation before President William Ruto on what you think we can do. Many people are not truthful. Myself, I'm a truthful person. And you know, many people want to skirt around the issues that I have, making us have a challenge as a country. The truth of the matter, and you people know it. Our challenge is nothing else but public debt, which is unmanageable. This debt, we did not make it ourselves. If you remember, on the 13th of September 2022, when I took oath of office as Deputy President, and I was given an opportunity to say something before I invited the President, I told the people of Kenya, on day one, not now, because I'm a truthful person, of the economy we have inherited. And I told the people of Kenya that we found empty coffers. I told the people of Kenya we have found a 9.6 trillion public debt. I told the people of Kenya we have found pending bills of 900 billion. I told the people of Kenya we have found a demoralized public service. I told the people of Kenya we were almost facing an economic shutdown. Today everybody is talking about it. That time people shouted at me, oh, this guy is very cheeky. Why is he talking before foreigners about our challenges? But I needed to tell Kenyans from day one. Had I not told Kenyans today, they would be blaming us. I told Kenyans the kind of economy we inherited. Many people are uncomfortable us talking about it. But the truth must be said. That is the space we are in. And I welcome wholeheartedly that you have volunteered to help us with ideas of what we can do to manage our public debt. And what we agreed under the leadership of President William Ruto is that we found ourselves in a hole. And what you do if you're an intelligent person, when you find yourself in a hole, you first stop digging and figure out how to get out. And that is exactly what we have done. Tightening revenue collection, sealing leakages, making sure that every cent is collected to pay public debt. All those people who are criticizing President William Ruto, they need to be honest. Are they telling the president and the government not to honor the debts that we found? These are debts for the Republic of Kenya. Although they were not committed by the present administration, they were debts committed by the government of the Republic of Kenya then. You as accountants, as business people, you know, in simple bookkeeping, there are assets and liabilities. We inherited the assets. State House, my office, vehicles. Fair enough. What about the liabilities? We inherited them too. Huge public debt, 9.6 trillion, 900 billion pending bills. Eurobond, 2 billion. Accruing interest between 12 to almost 16%. Those debts must be paid, and they'll be paid by the people of Kenya, not by William Ruto or Gachagua. It is the people of Kenya. Us being part of Kenya will pay through paying taxes. These people shouting left, right, and center, telling us to default so that we can be blacklisted as a banana republic. Are they telling us not to pay the Eurobond? Are they telling us not to pay what we owe the local banks? We want them to come and tell us. Don't just shout. Offer a solution. These debts are on record. We did not borrow as we were in the forest. William Ruto alikuwa ametengwa nje. He was not attending cabinet. He was not attending the National Security Council. He was not part of committing the country to those debts. But he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He inherited those debts. He has to figure out how they have to be paid. And we are inviting you, good people, to help us with ideas of what we do, how we can go about it, how do we avoid them in future. Through continuous engagement, through bilateral and multilateral diplomacy, the president has traveled around the country, the world, engaging multilateral leaders, the IMF, the World Bank, key partners, the United States, the People's Republic of China. Currently, he has just left Germany for France to see how we partner with the world to get us out of the mess we are in. And it has started to pay. Yesterday, the World Bank made a huge pronouncement of $12 billion in the next 3 years. Concessional loan on very low interest, as opposed to trying to borrow money here from local banks. The IMF, 4 days ago, made a similar announcement of a huge intervention. We have public roads that have all stalled. We need to get the contractors back on site. We have to get this money somehow. We did not create this situation. We found it. And they are uncomfortable when we say that's the situation we found. What do they want us to say? You people know, you manage companies. You know, you look at the state of the books when you take over a company. You take a company that is in the red, you know what to do with it. You take a going concern, you know what to do with it. But us, we didn't have a choice. Kenya is ours. We took it the way it was because this is our country. If we had a choice, we would have looked for another company, not Kenya. Because of the huge debt portfolio through irresponsible borrowing. When we tell the story, because we are going to tell the story, people will be shocked. How $2 billion was taken from the central bank and put in a private bank that is responsible for the situation we are in, the weakening of the shilling. And people want to sit there, and we know what they did. And we had said, let bygones be bygones. But there's a good discussion. We are going to have a good discussion. We are putting the figures into place, who took what and where, so that the people of Kenya can know why we are in this shit and this mess. To be fair to everybody, how do people expect a government to fix a 10-year mess in 1 year? A mess of 10 years. Through state capture, conflict of interest, outright theft of public resources, irresponsible borrowing, misuse of public funds, misapplication of funds into useless legacy projects. And here we are. We must be truthful to the people of Kenya, because it's important that we be truthful to the people of Kenya. And when the people of Kenya finally know the truth, they will make irresponsible borrowing a judgment, an assessment, misuse who is right and who is wrong. And what I can assure you, outright theft of public through state presidents and the rest of us are determined to fix this economy. And this economy 10-year mess in 1 year. People expect, and there are good signs, a government to fix a 10-year mess in 1 year. For the first time in 8 years, at the closure of financial year at midnight on June 30th, we had given every cent owed to the county governments. And previously, we had arrears of 5 to 6 months for county governments, for years. By the closure of financial year on June 30th, we had disbursed the last coin to the constituency development funds. For the first time, we have no arrears for our elderly men and women for their monthly stipend. We found an arrears for 8 months for those senior citizens who need that 2,000 to buy drugs, to buy food. We have cleared all that. Today, they get their stipend before civil servants are paid. And we have said, let anybody who has an idea on how to fix this economy come and talk to us. I want, on behalf of the president, to welcome you as ISPAC. Come and talk to our people at the National Treasury, and we'll ask you to talk to the president, and all of us are aligned. This is our country, and as I said, we don't know everything. If you have better ideas than we have, this is our country, we have no other country. Please come and talk to us, and whatever you advise us, if it's prudent, if it can get us out of the quagmire that we find ourselves in, we shall say asante sana. So please, you are most welcome. I've heard you talk about pending bills, it's true. The president, in his wisdom, has put a committee where your members are represented, led by Ouko, former Auditor General, an eminent Kenyan, another group of very eminent professionals. I saw them when the president was inaugurating the team. Men and women of integrity to scrutinize, verify and validate pending bills so that those that are payable we can pay, and put that history of pending bills behind us. We saw many Kenyans lose their homes. We saw families break up. We saw people commit suicide as a result of pending bills. Government documents became worthless. Previously, during the Kibaki regime, you could walk to any financial institution with an LPO and get LPO financing 50% without a question, because the documents had credibility. People knew that you are given a contract by government, it is payable. Today, there is no bank or microfinance institution that will honor an LPO, because you supply 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you have not been paid. We want to restore the sanctity of government LPOs and LSO and contracts so that they become bankable. that you can walk to a bank and get cash against it to carry out the works that you have been given. So that is ongoing. Again, you have said you have your issues of the remuneration role. You have explained to me there and here, and what we have agreed, I'll create the framework. My office has been tasked by the President the responsibility of coordinating constitutional commissions and independent offices. I'm the one who does that coordination in my office. So we have agreed with the chair. I'll call that forum for you, the Attorney General and no other people involved. We begin that conversation so that like your counterparts, the lawyers and other professionals, you can have your own remuneration role. Lakini msiweke pesa mingi sana, mlipiche kidogo. There is too much competition. Even these lawyers, I can tell you, because some of us wafanyi biashara pia, hatuwalipi ile iko kwa hiyo role. Tuna negotiate because mawakili ni wengi sana. Tusema wewe ni ngapi, wewe ni ngapi, wewe ni ngapi, wanashindana inateremuka. It is good to have the remuneration role as a benchmark. But you are also many. You have told me you are 35,000. 28,000 are in practice. So mutashindana tu pole pole so that Kenyans can also get the best deal. So that one I'll do. Again, you have talked about too many regulations, and will help. The members of the National Assembly are here. The Attorney General is here. We can agree on how to fast track the review of these regulations so that we can collapse them into something that is making sense, so that we don't have too many laws for the same person doing the same thing. So that is something we can help in terms of fast tracking with the leader of the National Assembly in Parliament, with the Attorney General, with our legal drafters. We can work together and we can help you to fast track that one. The MP for Molo, KK, my good friend, has said about you people being targeted when there are investigations. It is true. Even the procurement people who are here crying the same. It is true, and it's very sad. And I said, and I want once more to reiterate to ACC and DCI, please hire professionals to be your investigators. Hire accountants, hire procurement people who can advise you on how the investigation is going. You find some of these policemen, they have no idea about accounting. You know? So he is being asked to interrogate you and write statements on things that himself he cannot comprehend. You know? I from a personal experience on how absurd our investigative agencies can be when they are investigating complex matters beyond their pay grade. When we were fighting to come to government, and the previous government targeted me for persecution because of my political stand, which was very firm, and decided to try to blackmail me to change my stand. They sent CID officers all over my life to look around my life for 50 years and turn it around and see whether they can get something. When we were fighting to come to government, and the previous government targeted me microfinance for persecution because of my political stand for 8 years. Fixed deposit, 200 million, and decided to try to blackmail me to change my stand. Money I had earned, they sent hard work, saved, put 200 million, and through good advice by accountants, told me, put this money in the fixed deposit and leave for the interest. And I stopped working. I put it, I negotiated for 13%. And every month I was getting 1.9 million, which is money actually I did not need. It's too much. 1.9 million is too much for one person. So I was living on the interest. I give a little to Pastor Dorcas. You know, she's a pastor, she doesn't need a lot of money. So, ingine kidogo, mimi nakula na marafiki. Ingine napeleka kwa siasa kidogo kidogo. So, this money is in my personal account. I put it on a core deposit for 3 months. So every 3 months, it leaves my personal account, goes to a suspense account. It stays there. At the end of the 3 months, inarudishwa yote pamoja na interest. I remain with the interest. I reinvested back. So that movement back and forth 4 times a year, a corporal in police said, I have 800 million every year that is coming to the account. You know, that movement back and forth. So they calculated for 8 years, they said it's 12.4 billion. And they put up a case of 12.4 billion. And it's the same amount of money. The only 200 is the only money. There is no other money. Movement of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So yeye anaangalia pale, mwisho pale, at the head pale. Hey, they calculated, they say this man, in 8 years, he has gotten 12.4 billion. He needs to say where this money has come from. But it was the same 200 million. I tried to explain to him, huyo mjinga hawezi shika, hawezi elewa. But if they had an accountant or a banker in that bank, tungefika hapo kweli? It's just a rollover. We were trying to tell them what is a rollover. Anasema, hiyo ni nini? Hawezi shika. And that is where you have found accountants have been called to record statement. The fellow recording cannot understand what is it that you are saying. He has no idea about books of accounts. So I'm saying, EACC, DCI, please, for you to deal with corruption and economic crimes, hire professionals in every field as your investigators. Have accountants, have procurement officers, have bankers, have all sorts of professionals for you to deal conclusively with economic crimes because they are complex. An ordinary policeman trained in Keynote cannot understand those things. And I want to say now that we have agreed on police reforms, we have agreed that we'll have a cadet entry so that we attract professionals, so that you enter at the level of an inspector when you are professional. I want to encourage professionals across the country. When we implement that reform, and there's a recruitment, please, accountants, come to the police force as a direct cadet and come and help these people to deal with issues that are complex. Au wengine wafanye kazi hii ya kawaida. Ya kushika wewe, kuweka wewe pingu, kutoa wewe, hiyo wafanye. Lakini ingine hii ni mambo ngumu hii. These are difficult issues. Even ourselves, and we are graduates, we are not able to understand those things. So that's why we hire accountants to advise us. That's why we hire lawyers to advise us, because you are not good at that profession. So to avoid this harassment of professionals by police, let us bring in professionals in the investigation agencies and things will be okay. Finally, you are aware we want to privatize all non-profit making state corporations so that we can give them to you people because you are the one who knows how to do business. The work of government is not to do business, PS. Our work is to give services. If you look at the sugar sector in Western Kenya, there are several factories, some are state-owned, others are private. The soil is the same. The environment is the same. The farmers are the same. The prices are the same. The only difference, some are managed by government officials, others are private. Moroni, Mumias, Nzoia, Chemiril, managed by public servants, all dead. Butali, West Kenya, managed by the private sector, making profit. Why does government want to do business? That's not our work. Our work is to build roads, to provide security, to give health services. Let us leave business to the private sector so that the people who know how to run investments can do it professionally. So very soon, we are finalizing on the law. All these companies will be up for sale. Nyinyi muko na pesa, mununue, and you run them. And you run them profitably. It's good for the country because once they are profitable, we shall collect corporate tax. We shall collect pay as you earn. so that we can work efficiently. But we have no business as a government to put more money into non-profit making organizations. It is unwise, it's actually foolish to do so. And with this cannot continue. These are some of the hard decisions the president has to make. And the test of leadership, not just in Africa, but in the world, is the ability for a leader to make hard decisions for his country. These decisions may look unpopular for now, because they are hard decisions. But in another 24 months, people will say these were the right decisions, because hard decisions must be made. There is no other way of turning around this economy. And if we don't make hard decisions, we'll all get into problems. Technology is the way to go. We have started ourselves as a government. We have digitized all our services. And you know, everything was being stolen. People had their own receipt books. Kwa National Park, mtu wako na receipt yake. Analipisha, anapeana receipt, anaweka pesa kwa mfuko. Before we digitized all our services, we were collecting 60 million a day. After we did, we are collecting every day 350 million. 600% increase. The 290 million ilikuwa naenda kwa mifuko ya wanaume. And there was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of resistance. And we said, if you cannot agree that we digitize our services, we pay through one pay bill number, utembee uende nyumbani. We are now at 350, and our progression, when we look at the full potential, in another 3 months, we'll be able to collect $1 billion every day for this country. So let everybody embrace digitization of government services. Na wengi hata wamewacha kazi, because they were not living on the salary, they were living on collecting money in cash. So that one is going to continue, because there is no other way of going about it. Finally, you talked about your scheme of service. Those who are in the public sector, we are willing to have that conversation. I'm in charge of public sector reforms. We are willing to engage you as ISPAC on behalf of those who serve in the public sector, so that we can agree with the Public Service Commission and the Ministry of Public Service on a scheme of service to encourage career progression and to have a very defined structure on how you rise in the service, so that you don't just work and you are not sure about tomorrow. So if we were able to do that, I think things should be able. Finally, I was very happy to note that 60% of your membership are our women. Pongezi, congratulations. You know, accountants are very important people, because the issue of integrity and being honest is very important. So I'm very happy that 60% are women, because most women are very honest. That's right. Myself, I hang around with a lot of women in my office. All the key areas nimepatia wa mama, because hapana wezi. Quite a number, a few ni wakora, lakini the whole, a few manga kidogo, wanakaa kama wanaume. Lakini sisi wazee tuko wakora kidogo. So I'm very happy that most, 60% of your members are women, and we want to encourage our women to fight for your space in every sector in this country, including leadership. Be women of substance. You have something to offer, because you offer service from the heart. You are very genuine and compassionate in what you believe in. So we would want to see more women in leadership. And I can tell you from the cabinet, we have 8 women. They were at Toa Jasho. They work, and they work from the heart. They are so passionate in what they do. We want to see more women in the judiciary. We want to see more in the cabinet. We want to see more in the private sector. We want women to take up their rightful space in the management of the affairs of this country and in terms of economic activities. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeshukuru sana. I've learned several things. And you know, sisi watu hatujasoma sana, ukikaa na watu wamesoma unafaidika. Najua when we were studying biology, there were two processes in biology. One was called osmosis. What was the other one called, Kimani? Yeah? Diffusion. So, vile nimekaa hapa, ukikaa na watu wamesoma through diffusion and osmosis, hata wewe unapata. So I feel more educated and more learned by just sitting around with you people. So mkiniita tena nitakuja. Mkitaka nimuletee rais atakuja. Yeah. At least rais ako na bahati, you cannot intimidate him. Ako na degree 3 sio kama mimi niko na moja. So he'll be more comfortable with you guys. Me, I'm a little bit intimidated, but nangangana too. You know, so we are very grateful and we look forward to engagement. Please continue discussing your issues. Talk about our country. Let us talk about our economy. Na tafadhali, the 5% ongea juu yake. 95% nyinyi watu wazuri. Wazuri sana. In 5%, nyinyi ndio mtatuharibu sisi. You are the one who come to show us how to cook our books so that we evade tax. Nyinyi. There is nobody who evades tax without an auditor. Hakuna mwananchi ya kawaida anaweza kukoroga hiyo vitabu aepuke. Nyinyi ndio wajuaji ya kukoroga vitabu. You people. Matters tax evasion, you guys are in it. You are the ones who sit down with the directors of companies and show them watakoroga vitabu. Na ndio unaona mtu akiitwa na KRA anasema ngoja nitafute accountant yangu kwanza. Nobody is willing to talk to KRA without a fellow there. It's like a lawyer on matters tax. So please, be good people. Be patriotic to your country. Let people pay what they owe. Don't assist them to cook books. You know, let them just pay what is due so that we can build roads, we can buy medicine, we can build more hospitals, we can take care of the senior citizens, and we can do all the other things that we need to do by the tax we have collected. And ourselves on our part, we have committed to make sure that the taxes are used for the purpose for which they have been collected. We are sealing all loopholes for leakage and for stealing of public funds so that the people of Kenya, once they pay tax, they can see what the tax is doing. With those very many remarks, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you.
Sisa kindly remain on the dais for a brief photo share.
Bana. Nisikia njaa nakula. Mchele.
Billion US dollars. We did not borrow. Had I not told Kenyans today, they will be criminals to help us. To profession that is highly inclusive to come and engage you. And I've listened to you very carefully and I'm very excited.
Yes,
I had us
Mm. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Mm. Tunataka kusalimia. Kama sio Zatake. Unaona ulinipigia nilikuwa kwa motorbike na sikusikia simu. Unaona wakati tumeongea ulikuwa na game ya Harambee Stars ilikuwa inaanza saa 4. Unaona ulinipigia nikitoka kwa ofisi ulisikia nilikuwa hapo nje. Nilikuwa hapo nje. So nikachukua motorbike mbio. Nikakuja. Asante kwa jana. Sasa tutaona.
You see this girl? She's beautiful. She's wonderful. She's courageous. She's marvelous. She's brilliant. She's special. And she's the apple of God's eyes.